Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union. Of course, at TVFCU, we know members love our low loan rates and our low account fees, but it's our expert staff which is really what everyone raves about. Stop in at 10 Jefferson Ave, that's behind Wendy's in Batavia. All right, let's get right to it, beginning with my interview with Attica boys soccer player Zach Strzelec, who was an Attica football player last fall. Many athletes made the transition from one sport to another this fall due to unfortunate circumstances surrounding the coronavirus, and Strzelec was one of those athletes that helped Attica to one of its best seasons in recent memory. Strzelec was an all-state football player last year and followed that up with a great fall on the pitch this season.
It started out pretty interesting. First day of practice with, I think we had a total of four guys that had played football in the past. And I didn't really know what to expect from them. I knew one of them, Drew Kuzmano, had played soccer when he was younger, but that was pretty much it for kind of their experience. And I will admit that the first week or so of preseason was a big learning curve for them. But I told them after a while, 1 week of practice, anybody can kind of do that. It can be fun, but to commit to an entire season's another thing. So kind of met with all of them and told them that if they were committed to the team, then I would no longer kind of consider them football guys. They became soccer guys. And they all wanted to stay. They all wanted to participate. So we went from there. And I think it was a big part of our success having them there.
Now, Zach, what was the experience like for you coming from football, an all-state football player, obviously, like Coach hinted at, a different environment on the football field and the soccer field? How much different was it for you, and what was that experience like?
I didn't really know what to expect when I first came in. I knew it was going to be fun just because I was with a couple of my football buddies and then a couple of my soccer buddies. So it was going to be definitely going at it kind of when we were practicing and stuff. But it was definitely fun, and it was hard to learn. We all got better as the season got on. It was definitely fun.
How much easier did it make it having so many of those guys from the football team and so many of your buddies on the team? How much easier did that make it for you to learn the sport and become a contributor for your team?
I think it was definitely easier to learn more stuff because some of my buddies were really good at soccer, and they do all year-round soccer. And so they'd teach me little things here and there, what to do, how to kick the soccer ball and stuff. And, that's about it. It was just fun, really.
Now, Coach, we talked about it before, but just mention, what did Zach do for your team this year? What did he contribute that really made a difference for you guys?
There was the on the bench stuff, but there's also he brings a lot of energy to practice, and those football guys they're intense. They're used to being smashing into guys. And there were times at practice where they don't really know it, but there were times where I would purposely keep them away from certain players on the team because they're just, some of them go 100 miles an hour no matter what, which is actually great, in terms of energy level there. For Zach, we did some stuff in practice early on that I always kind of like to have a guy sometimes where he'll go out and defend, mark a guy the entire game. And, his experience as a linebacker and stuff, covering guys, I figured he might be able to transition well to that role. So we used that in practice. His job, he didn't like it the one day too much. His job was to scrimmage, and one of the players he had to mark the whole time was me. So I told him anytime that I touched the ball during this scrimmage, he owed me 10 push-ups. And so he did them. I didn't touch the ball very much, but and that just kind of give him that inspiration to stay with me at all times. And then we used that tactic when we played Holly. The second time we played Holly up in Batavia on the Ed Vendetta, he marked Nathan from Holly, and then he switched to Caden from Holly, depending on where they were. And he shut him out. I mean, he did a great job just moving from guy to guy, and there was a lot of times where he was winning the ball, and those guys didn't touch the ball that much during the game, and that I thought made a really big difference for us. in that particular game. We ended up winning 2-0 in that game. So, yeah, he played, I think, more in that game than all the games before it combined.
Yeah, Zach, Coach mentioned how your experience as a linebacker may have been able to help you transition to that role as kind of a defensive stopper for your team. Did you see that as well? Did you see some of the skills that you had in football transitioning over to the soccer field and helping you there?
Yeah, I think it definitely did help a lot because, I mean, if I wasn't as good as I was at football, I don't think I'd be anywhere near as good as I was at soccer. I want to just like keep with them because there's a lot of fast-paced people out there, and they can haul around. So I think it definitely helped a lot.
Now, Zach, final question for you. Coach mentioned he's hopeful that the football season does happen. How hopeful are you for that, and how much are you looking forward to your senior year on the gridiron?
I really want football to happen. I mean, soccer was fun and all, but I'd much rather play football. Like, I just want it.
All right, next up, Nate Ryder's interview with the Leroy boys soccer team and Coach Bob Hammer, as Alex Panepento and Nate Andrews, football players a year ago, made the transition to the pitch this season and helped the Leroy boys do a successful season before their campaign came to an end due to unfortunate circumstances that did not allow them to play in the sectional tournament. Andrews was one of the top players for the Knights this season, and Panepento was a contributor as well. Hear from Coach Hammer and those two boys talk with Nate Ryder about their experience making the transition this season.
Right here with senior Alex Panepento. You know, Alex, I know Nate Andrews, who's not here, you know, played soccer all growing up through life. When's the last time you played soccer before this year?
Probably when I was about 6 years old. It's been a while.
What's the choice before of going to football instead of soccer? Just
I wanted to knock heads. That was then.
decided to try to play soccer.
You know, originally I was just doing it to stay in shape, but as I started to play it, it actually became very fun to do. Well, you know, my soccer skills weren't exactly there, but I just hustled and played my all on every time. So.
You know, what was that like? And you know, you're getting out there playing, you know, pretty much half the game.
You know, coach would just tell me to go out there, and I'd be guarding like one of their main scorers, just keep in front of you. Basically, all I did was stick with them.
What do you guys think you brought to the team this year?
I think we brought like type of physicality to the team, like aggressiveness more. Yeah, it helps out a little.
There's definitely a few games where the opposing crowd, when there was one, got on you a couple times because you were knocking people over. Was that kind of the style? Did you get talked to about it, or you know, was that just kind of what you were doing out there?
You know, I don't know. I wasn't trying to do it, but like if someone initiated it first, you know, I'm all about it.
You know, obviously you're hoping to play football in the spring. You know, what did you take out of this fall, being able to, you know, play a sport, and obviously one you weren't used to playing?
Definitely brought that like competitiveness back in me. I just hope we have a season.
You know, well, Coach, we'll get to, you know, a couple of these other guys, but Nate was the one, Nate Andrews, who I watched playing soccer, you know, kind of growing up and all the youth leagues and summer leagues. And, you know, how did he adjust? I mean, did he just fit right in when he came out here?
Yeah, not a problem at all for Nate. He was able to step right on the field. He's someone who has played soccer his whole life. So, you know, for him, he's played it this summer, and then usually we'll play football. But it was great to have him on the soccer field this year, you know, representing our school. And it wasn't much of a transition at all. He was welcomed by the team, and his effort was welcome.
You know, what was it like for you? Obviously, I mean, you know who he is. You know, his mom was a great soccer player, and you know, all these years you haven't had a chance to work with him, and finally getting him out there, and you know, he kind of did a little bit of everything for you guys.
Absolutely, he did. And you know, I knew Nate as when he was a much younger kid. His brother Tyler played goalie for me, so I could see Nate was coming up, and I did. You know, I was always looking over them. Wow, the football team is very lucky to have such an athlete. So it was great to have an opportunity this year to coach him and to have him be a part of our team.
You know, and obviously on the different level was Alex Panepento, who said he hadn't played football in in about 10 years or even more. What was it like having a kid like that with a real football mentality coming out there and trying to switch gears a little bit?
Yeah, it was really interesting to see, how someone would enter their senior year with limited experience and try to compete at the varsity level. And man, did Alex do that using the skill set he had. Maybe it wasn't a traditional soccer skill set, but we were able to use what he could bring. Like he mentioned, his physicality was ready to go at the varsity level.
With Nate, it was different. He was a starter. He led the defense. You moved him around. With Alex, he kind of, slowly but surely, made his way into the lineup and more. How long did it take you to get the confidence in him that he kind of knew what he was doing enough to be out there at the varsity level?
Yeah, I mean, it's a real testimony to his character. He came out, obviously, at the beginning of the season, had a long way to go before he'd be able to step on a varsity field. But then as the season got going and daily, you saw him, taking training seriously. And as he had mentioned, first he was kind of unsure if this is something he was really going to want to be doing. But then you could see that he really got into it, and then his skills began to kind of come along. And then, before you know it, he was playing quite a bit.
Yeah. For kids like that who are expecting, hopefully, to be, big-time studs on the football team this year, what do you think they got out of playing this fall and, kind of doing something they weren't used to?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for, a lot of athletes will talk about cross-training, and I think for, someone like Alex, who is a three-sport athlete anyway, so whether it's baseball or basketball or jumping on the football field, for him to be out there with the soccer team, that helps him too. And I would say specifically soccer, one thing that Alex probably and the other athletes have taken away is a level of endurance that's required for soccer that's a little bit different from the other sports that they typically play. So I think the cross-training is great for them.
I know we talked at the beginning of the year, kind of the energy these football guys brought. What did you see through the year that these guys kind of brought something that wasn't there the last couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there was, and it was more than just like their physicality. I think there was a real sense of pride in Leroy and being able to represent their school and represent it with their friends, and knowing that there's limited options for sports, but they were just going to do it no matter what. So I thought that sense of pride is probably what you were really picking up on.
All right, and now to round out this week's show, Chris Metcalf's interviews with a few athletes from the Livingston Conference who also moved from one sport to another this fall.
Andrew, just kind of take me through the process of when you first found out that there wasn't going to be football and your decision to play soccer.
Well, I heard that there wasn't going to be football, and I was thinking about doing something, so I didn't want to sit around and wait for a season to happen. So I decided I was either going to do cross country or soccer, and I decided to go with soccer. Some of my friends were going to play, and I thought it'd be a good time, and it was. Last time I played soccer, I think I was 5, going into kindergarten and the Pee-wee level. So it's been a while.
So you got some friends. Who were the friends that actually came on the team with you that were also football players?
Adam Mariani, Lucas Finley, Aiden Reed, Joe Frazier, and Will Greenwood. Well, all of us really just got along this year. We meshed really well, and we ended up having a great year. We went 10-2. Didn't come out the way we wanted it to, but had a lot of fun, and it was a great year. Make the most of what you're given, because like this year, we weren't allowed to have football, and you have to make the best of what you're given with the situation.
I bet you're looking forward to hopefully some basketball this January and some football in the March.
Yes, for sure. Hopefully they're able to do something for basketball just because it's inside, but definitely looking forward to football and baseball as well.
Awesome. We want to thank you, Andrew, junior here at the Avon Central School, for joining us. So when you decided to make that change to soccer, what was the, what happened?
Well, basically I heard a bunch of my friends were doing it and other people were doing it, and I didn't want to sit around all fall and not have anything to do and try to stay in shape.
Was it kind of nice being a part of something so special this year with the soccer program?
Yeah, it was very nice. It was a good year. Everybody meshed well together and did good.
What advice would you have for someone that's kind of maybe stepping out of their comfort zone, trying a new sport?
I would just say take advantage of it and make the most of what you have, because you never know what could happen, honestly, and it's just good to do something.
How about football in March? Are you excited about that potentially?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it could be good having it in the spring. It might be something different.
Awesome job. We want to thank you for joining us and being a part of something that was so special this fall at Avon.
Thank you.
Okay, we're here with Avon Athletic Director Andy Englert. Coach, just talk about the importance that a lot of these student athletes at Avon decided to join other sports when football was canceled.
Yeah, I think anytime you got into the situation with the fall time and you get to where you can't play the sport that you want to be involved in, it was cool to see so many guys step up and find a sport that was open and available for them to participate in, and the guys did a great job, and it was exciting to be able to go and watch them in a different atmosphere, instead of on the football field or in other sports. So it was cool to be able to see them participating. Yeah, I think it was great for them. It was great for Coach Patty and their team. It was pretty neat. Say Avon's a really special place because I think the chemistry between our student body really shows. Kids welcomed each other into the programs, and they have a lot of great classmates that they deal with on a daily basis in the classroom. So it was neat to be able to see them. Andrew, Adam, Lucas, Joey Frazier, Will Greenwood. I think I got everybody right. Thomas Welch, who did cross country. Aiden Reed was the other one. Able to see all those guys participate. It was great, and Thomas started out in cross country, ended up getting an injury and stopping halfway through, and it was good to see those guys play. When you step out of that comfort zone, I think the one thing is how do you get yourself motivated, and dealing with a new challenge and dealing with a new game and new rules. And it's pretty funny in the first couple soccer games, you get Joey Frazier and Lucas Finley out there not knowing what offsides is. I still don't know what offsides is in soccer. So being able to see that and Aiden running around hitting the ball, and these two guys, Adam and Andrew, really helping out the team. It was cool to see them to experience something different. Yeah, in all of our sports programs, I think it's one of those neat things year in, year out. We've been pretty successful in our sports programs. You look at the boys and girls soccer teams, they had great years. The girls going, 3 times in their sectional championship run. Cross country finished the top 4 out of 19. Marzak finished top 5 in that, and if there was states for cross country, she would have went to states. So they all placed in the top 15. So that was great to see that. And with the sports that we had, I think the biggest thing is people realizing that I think it was the study shows or the report shows there was 55,000 athletes that were able to participate this year during this pandemic, and that number would be a lot higher if there was cheerleading, football, and volleyball. We're just lucky to be able to do something this year. Coach Benetti's done a great job with that program, and it shows a lot of character in those kids. They also were New York State Scholar Athlete Team Award, along with all our 3 teams of soccer, and cross country, boys and girls won Scholar Athlete Award. So student of the game, and they participate during the evening time and they get the homework and scheduling. I think that's the neat thing as a student athlete. It really prepares you and managing your schedule.
Okay, we're here with Avon boys soccer coach Anthony Patty. Tremendous season this year, Coach. You got a little help from some of the football guys that stepped over and got out of their comfort zone this year, Coach. Can you talk about how that worked out for you?
It was awesome to have the football guys this year. They really added a different flavor to our team. Some of them played a lot of minutes, some of them did not, but it really didn't matter. Our practices were more physical, more energetic, more upbeat, just having them around. Some of them were friends of our soccer players, so they really supported our team when we were scoring goals. They were the first ones jumping up and cheering the guys on. When we needed to push, when we were maybe struggling, they were edging us on as well. And then Andrew Rowland specifically gave us a lot of minutes at center back. Adam Mariani gave us some minutes at outside mid, really stepped in well. So it's just a new level of athleticism and size. It was neat to go to different games and see that we were the big guys, and we had lots of numbers on our bench. So it was a huge blessing to have those guys with us this year.
Coach, what do you say to a prospective soccer player coming up maybe down the road that says, hey, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and maybe play a sport I normally wouldn't play?
saying that maybe they could play football in the spring. I think kids should try different sports, and I think it just gets you around different group of kids, trains your body in a different way, pushes you mentally in a different way, and I think it's fun to just try new things. And our season certainly wouldn't have been the same without the football guys. So I encourage my soccer players to go out and try different sports throughout this unique season.
What came about your decision to play soccer this fall?
Over the summer, there was always question about football happening, and soccer was up in the air too, but then soccer got confirmed and football got pushed to the spring. So I'm a competitor. I love to play. So I tried out for the soccer team and just put it all out there and see how I did, and it turned out really good in the end.
You know, you won a Section 5 championship last year, the Bulldogs. First one in a long time in football. You're holding the Section 5 soccer. I don't know of anybody else that's ever done that personally. How cool is that, holding that block of wood right there?
Oh, it's amazing. The one last year was special. It's been 20 plus years for football, and now a soccer one after a couple years without it, and then to be on the team and contribute to bringing it back to Livonia, it's just amazing. No, it was unreal. Just the first half, we came out so strong. We were up 2-0. Then the second half, we kept playing. They just had a couple great opportunities, and then in the end, we pushed through it. Went stronger, went faster, and we ended up putting one in at the end to win.
Win your second Section 5 block in less than actually about a year. You got 2 blocks from a fall sports team. Matthew, just what would you tell someone right now that's kind of on the bubble about maybe trying something out of their comfort zone?
You just got to try it. You know, you never know what's happening. I never thought, take me 6 months ago, I never knew this would ever happen. I never thought I'd be kicking around a soccer ball. Just try it. You never know what could happen.
Fantastic. Matthew Connor, Jr., Section 5 champion in football and in soccer. Take me through your decision on how you got about playing soccer.
Well, all my friends, we all used to go down to the turf all the time in the summer and just play soccer, and it was just fun. And I'm a football guy, but I like to play soccer too. It's fun. I learned football wasn't going to happen, so I'm I definitely got to do soccer. There's no other choice. I got to have fun.
I think we're going to have to talk to Coach Maxwell about getting a bigger trophy case. But every one of them in there is a soccer-related championship. State trophy, Section 5 championship. Jake, you heard about the tradition. How was that? Was there a tradition of soccer at Livonia?
Yeah, they're a really good team. It's great to come on to a team like that that's just got everything well-rounded out and know how to play, and they're ready. And I knew we just had to bring home another one this year. Really, it was a tough game, tough fought. Wayne's a great team. They did well. I almost thought we weren't going to get it there at the end, but then we started playing hard, and then Bryce Hong hit that amazing shot, and it just brought everyone's spirits up, and there was no way we were losing after that. It's crazy. Everyone's like, let's go. We got to keep going. We got to fight through this. The wind picked up in the second half, too, so they were just sending it down the field right to their strikers and just trying to put it on frame.
The decision, when did you come about the final decision, yes, I'm going to play soccer for Coach Maxwell?
As soon as I heard football got postponed back and I could do both, I was like, let's do it. Hopped on instantly. It was amazing. Nothing's like it. Never felt anything like it to win a football sectional title after so many years of losing. And I mean, that was crazy. And then coming here and just winning a soccer one with all the guys just felt great.
Bulldog country's rocking.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thinking we got a lot of chances to go all the way in almost all those sports. So hoping we can do it.
Well, Jake, we want to thank you for joining us, and thank you for making the switch to soccer and showing everybody that, hey, they win some titles over here in Livonia in soccer, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're here with Livonia, legendary Hall of Fame coach, Ray Maxwell. Coach, we just talked to a couple of your juniors here that contributed this year to the soccer team. Both of them played football, and then a third, obviously, Gabe Gammon played it as well. They all moved to soccer this year once they heard football wasn't going to happen. Just can you talk about those three?
Yeah, it was a nice, very pleasant surprise and a nice addition to our team. All 3 boys were wonderful. They were very coachable, got better every day, never missed a practice, worked hard, fit in nicely with us. We had a really nice group of boys, so you never know what's going to happen when you bring, kids in from the outside. And they just blended in great with us, and they all contributed. Matthew started it right back almost every game. Jake came in off the bench, scored several goals for us. Gabe was in almost most games and finished with a goal or two and an assist or two. So they were just great. And, watching them, I couldn't help but thinking if those kids had been playing soccer all along, oh my gosh, how good would they have been? It was a tough task going to Wayne to play the number 1 seed on their field for a sectional final. And they were a great team. They'd only allowed 4 goals all year. And ironically, it wasn't one of our better games. We had a decent first half. We really struggled the second half against the wind. But the kids were very gritty. Those kids included just wanted to win, and we managed to pull it out. And as I've said a million times, sometimes the result's more important than the performance, especially when it's a championship game,
Coach, first day of practice, you see those 3 kids walk into practice. Knowing that they came from football, what was your first thought?
First thought was, are they the only 3, or are we going to get 20 kids? If they're the only 3, I think we had 22 boys out in all. And I thought, that's a nice number if we keep, if we can manage to keep everyone. But never having seen them play, I didn't know. But it was obvious very quickly that they were good athletes and they were competitive and they could play. So yeah, it turned out to be a great thing for us.
Probably not a lot of places that you can go play football, win a sectional championship, and then win one in soccer as well. I mean, have you ever heard of that being done, Coach?
No, I haven't actually. It was nice. Football won last year and it was exciting for the whole community. And then for us to go back and do it in soccer this year was great. Yeah. So for those kids to be members of 2 championship winning teams, football and soccer, that's unusual. I'm sure that doesn't happen very often.
How did you come about making that decision to play soccer this fall?
I had gotten an email from Coach Orman saying that volleyball was officially not happening until possibly the spring. And I was out with some of my friends getting breakfast, and it was Addison playing, and she plays soccer. And I was like, well, should I do soccer? And we were just kind of making a joke out of it. But I was like, no, I'm just going to do it. So I emailed Coach Orman back. I was like, do you think I could try out for soccer? And he was all for it, so that's kind of cool.
You had a huge tying goal, your first ever goal in soccer to tie Keshequa, and you had the game-winning goal to beat Pavilion this year. So not only did you play, but you contributed at a high level. How fun was that?
It was super exciting. I just wanted to have fun. Basically, that was my goal going into it. So to actually have some good things happen out of it, it was kind of exciting. Obviously, we're making jokes with each other. I'm the volleyball player, I'm new to soccer and all this stuff, but it was all jokes and it was all so fun. They were amazing. They really helped me. Yeah, I definitely would encourage people, especially in times like these, you never know what's going on. And you can't lose anything trying something new. So I would say just do it because it's a good time, you make new friends, and you just grow your love for athletics, and it's just fun.
Coach, just talk about how special this fall season was with some of these transition athletes, and if you could tell me a few of the athletes that actually did different sports that kind of step out of their comfort zone this fall.
Yeah, actually, we were really lucky this year. We had 7 kids who went from playing, the sports were postponed until March, that decided to play another sport. We had 4 volleyball players. Obviously, you saw Leah. We had Steph Shunk, who also is a varsity volleyball player that went to cross country. We had Haley Dixon, who's a varsity volleyball player who also played girls soccer this year. And we had Claire Cuccinata, who's a volleyball player who ran cross country this year. On the boys' side, we had Jake Pangrazio, Joe Bauer, and Carl Scheck, who are usually football players that decided to run this year. They were all super eager. I think all of them were definitely contributors to the team. And it was just really exciting to see kids be able to take that educational environment that we talk about of taking risk and being well-rounded and trying new things and put that into the athletic spectrum this fall.
All right, we'd like to thank you for joining us for another episode of Inside High School Sports, and we'd also like to thank our participants in this week's episode, as well as our sponsor, Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union. For Chris Metcalf and Nate Ryder, my name's Alex Brasky. We'll see you next week.
At Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union, we have members of all types. From Blue Devils to Knights to Dragons and Leprechauns, we have solutions for all their financial needs. We not only provide checking and savings accounts, but also loans for vehicles and student loans. Our members also enjoy exclusive benefits through our scorecard rewards programs. To become a member, you can stop by our office in downtown Batavia or give us a call. Tonawanda Valley Federal Credit Union, local, personal, and owned by members.